Hi, it's Jennifer with Divinethreefold. Welcome back and thank you for joining me. And if this is your first time coming to my channel, thank you so much. This is a place where you can learn to move the body in different ways, especially with Pilates and different ways as well. And different ways to learn to relax the mind and the body, which is so important. So hopefully you'll be coming by often. So today's video is Pelvic Floor 101. So maybe someone's thinking, I don't know why we want to watch this, but I thought this video was important. This is something that's very important, and I think that it maybe not be something that even someone's thinking about when we're training our body, and it really doesn't become a problem most of the time until later on in life, and then it's too late. So I think women, of course, can run into trouble with the pelvic floor earlier on after childbirth. Having our babies, it wreaks havoc on our pelvic floor and can even cause damage, and it definitely is something that needs to be re-strengthened after we give birth. So much more important, I think, more sooner for women, but it's just as important for males. Yes, males have a pelvic floor as well. We all have a pelvic floor. So yeah, it is. It's really important, and there's so many, a huge part of the population that struggle with continence pretty early on in their lives, and we do not want to go back to wearing diapers again. So it's so important. So I'm just gonna not get too technical, but just talk about the basics of the pelvic floor, and then we're gonna try and find it, okay? So we're gonna try and locate it. We're just gonna do a couple exercises that are really easy to do to help you strengthen your pelvic floor. And just my recommendation is to make it a part of when you do your abdominal work, incorporate some of your pelvic floor exercises. It doesn't take that much. Pelvic floor are very small muscles, so they don't need a lot. They need something, but they don't need too much. You can also overwork and over fatigue the pelvic floor muscles, and you have to be careful just like any other muscle. But again, we're not going to build it. It's not like we're building our biceps or our glutes. It's not going to grow bigger, but it needs to be strengthened. So we're going to go over like just the three basics of what the pelvic floor is and for. Okay, so the first thing is, of course, it's pretty much three main functions. The first one is support. So it's support for the forces of gravity, any sort of pressure that moves down, abdominal pressure that moves down, laughing, coughing, straining, sneezing. And I'm sure us women can identify with this when you're pregnant, when there's being pressure put in that area. We can cough and something comes out that's not supposed to. So that is basically, it helps in that. And that's why it becomes weakened when we have a baby in our uterus. It definitely loses its functioning to work properly, and it's having that constant heavy pressure on it that it becomes a problem. So that's one basic support, is support. The pelvic floor supports and those organs that are in our pelvis. So also it provides a quick closure for our urethra and our rectum. So with continence, very important. That's what happens later on in life when it's too late, that it's not working. It's because it's too weak. So, and then third would just be sexual enhancement. It enhances sexual enjoyment. So very important as well. So basically what we're going to learn is, it's basically runs where it's located it's basically connects the pubic bone in the front of the pelvis and then comes around under the back to the sacrum of the pelvis. So it's something that we are going to learn in these ways to engage it by itself, and then also to engage it with using our abdominals as well. So it's kind of a hard thing to activate, and a lot of people don't properly know how to activate their pelvic floor, or it's so weak that they struggle activating it. So again, this is why we're here, very important. So I have a little visualization, because we love visualization, and this to me was very helpful, so I could kind of imagine. So I want you to think of, this is our bowl inside here, and this is our pelvis, okay? So the outside of the bowl is the structure of our pelvis, and then inside are our organs, and that's what I'm talking about, support. So it's basically support. Here is the bottom floor, and this is what holds everything up. then also it works on that opening and closing and for our urination and other things. So I like this visualization. This is a good thing to think in your mind. And let's think about it. If the integrity of the structure is broken here, there we go. So I think it's a nice visualization to really let you imagine what we are working on. So basically this is the pelvic floor. Okay, so we're going to lay down. Now I want you to do a self-test at home. This can be done anytime. You don't have to do it right now, but you could if you wanted to. You could pause the video and go do it. But the self-test is the next time you go to the bathroom, but not first thing in the morning, but your, maybe second or third time you use the restroom and you have to urinate. When you begin to urinate, try and pull up that pelvic floor. And that's the way you can grasp the concept of what the pelvic floor is when you stop, like you would want to stop the flow of urination. So this is a great way to see how strong or weak your pelvic floor is. Now, if you can, like I said, let the urination, start urinating, and then as soon as try and pull it up and stop the stream of urination. And if you can do that and nothing else continues to come out, you get no dripping, then you could feel like your pelvic floor is really strong. That's great. Now, if you pull up the pelvic floor and you still kind of notice a little dripping, then some work needs to be done on the pelvic floor. So it might mean it's a little bit weak. And this is great. This is a great way to figure out where you're at. So that's a great self-test at home. So that's your homework. But then today we're going to lay down and we're going to do some exercises that you can just do alone that are just activating the pelvic floor by itself. Now we're going to lay down because this is the best way to activate it of what I have found. Because a lot of times when people are sitting, and you may find this when you do your self-test on the toilet, sitting, sometimes that can be more difficult, but that's an important position to learn how to pull the pelvic floor up. So that's okay, but you can notice it's easier to activate it in this way. So we're going to lay flat on our backs. You guys can see me here. We're going to lay flat on our back. Go ahead and put your feet out. Now laying down relaxed is going to allow everything else to relax. A big problem with finding your pelvic floor is you engage other muscles, like your butt. It's very common for people to grip. If someone says, okay, pull up your pelvic floor, they tend to pull it up, but they'll grip the glutes or the other abdominals as well. So we don't want to do that. By laying flat, you relax everything else and you'll learn how to only activate the pelvic floor. So we're going to try this. So when I say to pull up the pelvic floor, you're going to relax everything in your body and just let's try it and begin. Give it a shot. Pull up the pelvic floor. Think of pulling, for my males, the scrotum up, and for females, think of pulling your vagina in and up. So let's try that. So go ahead and draw it in. Just the pelvic floor alone. Pull it in and hold it. 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and release. Now I want you to make sure that nothing else is getting involved. You're not gripping your sits bones or your glutes, your butt, or even your abdominals at this moment. So let's try that again. So just pull it up and hold it, squeeze, 2, 3, and release. And again, pull it up, hold, 1, 2, 3, and release. Nothing else should be moving. You might feel like a little something is moving in your abdominals, but try to mostly just focus on pulling that up and use your visualization. Close your eyes and imagine pulling that bottom floor up, hold, 2, 3, and release. And again, pull up, hold, squeeze, let that bottom floor pull up and release. Excellent job. Now I want you to put your knees up and we're going to do some leg floats. And this way we are going to engage our pelvic floor and at the same time you're going to pull your navel to spine. Okay? So in this position I want you a neutral spine. So let's have a refresher on what neutral spine is. Neutral spine is just neutral. You're not tucked, tilted, nothing. You're just that. It's just that natural sway in your spine that if you would just lay completely relaxed. So be a neutral spine. And what I want you to do is, when I say, I'm going to say pull up the pelvic floor, then we're going to keep that pelvic floor pulled up, and at the same time, then you're going to pull your navel to spine and engage those deep transverse abdominals. Okay, so let's try that. So pull up on the pelvic floor, hold it. Now I want you to think of drawing the belly button back towards your spine, engaging those transverse abdominals. Hold that, and then let's float one leg up. Hold it, and down, and release. Let's try that again on the other side. So pull, you can inhale at the top, and then as you exhale, pull the pelvic floor up, squeeze. Now pull the navel back towards spine, and lift the leg, and down. Excellent job. And let's try that one more time. Pull the pelvic floor up, engage, squeeze, and then pull the navel to spine, engage those abdominals, those deep layers, and then lift the leg and release and relax. One more time, and pull the pelvic floor up, squeeze, pull the navel to spine now, doing everything at once, and then lift that leg and down and release. Excellent job. So go ahead and bring your knees into your chest, a little squeeze. Excellent job. Okay, so I hope I have given you some tools to use for that pelvic floor. And you can basically do the self-test I told you about, and then go ahead and do 10, maybe 10 times of just pulling your pelvic floor up by itself, 10 times, maybe hold for 3 seconds and release. And then rest, and then do it again 10 times. That's a great thing to do, say once a week. And then also if you want to combine using the pelvic floor with the transverse abdominals. So I hope that was a great way of learning how you were doing one thing of just pulling the pelvic floor up, and then also combining the two with pulling the pelvic floor up and using the transverse abdominals as well. So I hope this has been wonderfully helpful for you. It's very important, and I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you have, please give it a thumbs up, and please come back and visit me often. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.